Hey folks, it's me again, your pal Nonny, here with a addendum to Monday's episode of Let's Explain. As somebody kindly pointed out to me, Red Goofoo, I accidentally, the video cut out part. Yes, you heard that right. And, it botched my explanation of infantry, which was actually one of the more important ones. So, here's my addendum. Infantry are essentially your brute force, commoners. They're the basic unit of all your armies, get the most effect out of upgrades, and, indeed are what conscripts end up as. Infantry are typically going to be the main brute of your assault, and are indeed the main force for the first half of the game. Essentially, your survival as a nation depends on your ability to reliably produce them. Gods are better, but infantry costs considerably less. Sorry, excuse me. While gods will eat up stuff like wine, liquor, and all that sort of thing, all infantry needs are basically small arms, canned food, and sometimes you'll need a small supply of basic booze. But beyond that, there's nothing. So, and, in fact, I think it skipped cavalry, too. Cavalry are your earliest mounted units. They move faster than infantry. I don't believe they get a combined arms bonus. Actually, it's not EU3 style, but basically, if you have infantry and cavalry, they do give you a combined arms bonus. And, as with cuirassiers, they're mostly for actual offensives rather than reconnaissance and quick securing. And finally, you missed the part where I said artillery was the most expensive but basically the most powerful unit for the first half of the game. So that was the addendum. Good night, folks. Achtung, the folks for YouTube. Welcome back to another part of Explaining Victoria 2. This time we'll be talking about the navies and army constructions, and the leadership. And you know, I still haven't hit on pause yet. Someday we'll do that. Maybe I'll do a proper let's play of it as this becomes popular. Anyway, as you can see, navies also have speed, attacks, their hull is their defense essentially, how much they can take, and they also have their own style, eaten units, typically artillery, ship designs of the time, and artillery. Ships themselves comes in a few categories, as your transports, the clipper and the steamer, the what I call the light ships, the monitor and the monitor and the cruiser, the screens, the frigate, commerce trader. I think the cruiser also counts as one of these, and the heavy ships, the man of war, the ironclad. Finally, the dreadnought, the most powerful ship in the game. The main use of navy is transport, of course. It's funny how they never get an oil-driven transport. I highly doubt that they are still using steam-powered transport ships in 1930s. Anyway, that's when you start off the game, you'll get clipper ships, which are basically the worst boats ever. They have one attack in hull, and this never gets better, by the way. A rather slow lag speed, and if you have noticed, they have really bad max speed, and as I mentioned, their hull is bad. So even if you're trying to protect these guys, sometimes you'll just get in a battle and just be to the point where, no matter, even if you have like a billion man of wars and frigates, even if these get shot, they'll sink instantly, and any infantry unit on that ship, as you could probably expect, instantly dies. Steam transports are basically better in every way, so get them as soon as you can. Researching steamers is the only time it's a really good idea to research a naval tank right off the bat, because they're pretty gosh darn important. Your screens, as a frigate here, um, basically their main unit is to be the main ship of the battle. They they have decent hull and attack stats, better max speed, but worse attack and hull stats than the heavy ships or flagships or mainline ships or ships of the line or whatever you want to call them. I require a small input, but for a smaller nation, you can actually get away with having only screens because, as you can probably guess, you only need combat ships if you expect to get in, well, ship combat. Screens will do fine and well if you're just trying to fend off transport ships from attacking you, or trying to fend off paltry and civ boats. Ships of the line are for if you're really into this shipbuilding thing. And, oh yeah, but by the way, screens are the frigate. Oh, I've already mentioned those. So the line, as you see here, are for if you're a serious naval player, which is generally not a good idea, because yeah, it's always better than you had it. Spoilers! But, as you can probably notice, the navies, these eat resources like Pac-Man eats dots. They're really resource hungry, even costlier to maintain. On the other hand, if you're fighting a serious naval war, it's a little doubtful if you can win without them. Finally, your light ships are basically kind of accessories. They can be easily used to protect your transport ships. They're small, fast, and there's a certain bonus you get with them. Sorry for that click there, my soundtrack's a little glitchy for some reason. Anyway, basically, the thing with ships in this game is that if you have, I think it was 2 screens for a ship of the line, then you get a bonus for the both of them. And if you have three lights for that one screen, you basically get a 9,001 bonus that will help you kill everybody you've ever met. Now, now it's time to talk about a few things. First hand, leaders. I don't have enough leadership to make one right now. But if you have 20 leadership, you can make a general or an admiral. If you make one of those, they'll basically upgrade armies in their own special ways. They have little traits. And as I'll show you, having no leader is very bad. It basically gives you negatives for everything. That's where the military spending in the budget comes in. If you have over 60 or at least 50, you'll get a good income of leadership. And if you have a lot of them, then you're probably going to have some of the better armies in the world. Another thing is attrition. Let's start researching these, shall we? Should have done that first episode. Another thing is attrition. Attrition is a very bad thing. For armies, it is based on their supply limit. Basically, how many, not their supply limit, but regional supply limit. Basically, how many people can fit and survive in this one little province. In your own satellite state or friendly territory, you get a boost of that. In enemy territory, it's either, I can't remember, I think early on, it's just a flat negator. That's not very good, because attrition will slowly wear down your numbers. Eventually, you'll just stop running out of people to have, and your military population will go down. Not all kinds of not very good things. For navies, each little dock you have is not these little docks seen here, but big old docks like this, like the one on Naples province. Docks like this determine your supply range. If you have a big dock, then you have a large protection radius. But if you leave your little protection radius, then your ships will slowly start to take damage. This is, quite obviously, not a good thing. So, we got time this episode. Let's actually show you what the game looks like in war. Let's actually unpause for a while. Rome, the Papal States, looks a bit silly. Let's see. We really don't need Romana, but why not? How it'll work in this game is you go to a province and you start its occupation. Once that little meter down there reaches 100, you've officially occupied the province. Do not make the mistake that most people do and assume that means that the province is yours. That's a terrible mistake, and you should feel bad for making it if you do. What that means is that your military is in control of it, and it's not seen to be yours, but it is seen to be taken from the. Let's take up taxes a bit. Taxes will not taxes, but wars will make your economy significantly worse for the main time for a few reasons. First, enemy traders, like see that French joined the Papal States. I'll explain more about why they did later. They won't accept your trades anymore, and of course that's going to hurt your economy no matter what. And another major thing is that you're not getting any resources from them, which is a bad thing, and they're assumed blockading your ports, even though this is usually not true. Seen there. Now, that was kind of work in this game is there's a strict war goal system. Whatever you start the war on is what you end up asking for, and it's also determined by infamy. Things like acquiring states or a flat conquest will. Jesus Christ! Everything at 100. This is usually a really bad idea, and I don't approve of doing it. If you do, I'll be really angry at you. Fuck, what was I saying? Oh yes, things like flat take state or conquest will give you a lot of infamy. Conversely, though, things like free people will give you a very lowered amount of infamy. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to go against what I preach and turn down the national stockpile. Even though it's the most important, it's also the most costly. And, essentially, if you have it too high, nothing you do will get across. Absolutely nothing. So, let's carry on. We've occupied a province. Now, let's try to sue for peace, because my economy is going to hell. We can propose peace to them, right? Sent up due to France, the war leader in this war. The war leader is basically who handles the negotiations, and if it's an ally, it's the strongest side. Let's just offer them a white peace and just take the trouble, because I'm going to restart anyway. And now we're at peace again. My prestige has sharply dipped because I made peace without a war goal. Because you do have a cost. If you lose the war you try to get in, if you have a goal for it, or wipe peace out more accurately, you are going to take a big ol' hit to prestige, your people will get angry at you, all kinds of bad things. But yeah, that's war for you. Come back next time when I'll talk to you about diplomacy, and we'll be seeing a little bit of a different location. Thought you folks would be happy for that.